I think it's working on your channel. It's on your channel as well. How about that?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. StreamYard, when you first click guest access, they say, "Oh, you can't do that unless you buy pay $40 a month." And then the next time I clicked it, it was said, "Yeah, you can with the free version." And it's like, what the hell? Their thing is real confusing. They charge like $70 a month for their premium. And I don't know what you get other than that you can stream to like 50 services at the same time. I don't know. But I'm fine with the free version. You can't get rid of the logo unless you go from $40 a month to 60 or $70 a month. And it's like, well, you're way too expensive, dudes, you know? But I suppose they have enough successful YouTube people that they're doing okay. Anyway, we got a little Jim Bob video today, and it's called Arguments. Where the hell is it here? Oh, Arguments Against Atheism. I had to turn my camera on. There it is. Arguments Against Atheism, and it's really wonderful. It's amazing. But the most amazing thing happened. Okay, I did a little comment here. I called them numbits and I had some other comments, but what Jim Bob did for me is this, and you were there, Austin, so I think you saw it live. But yeah, I want to make this big so I can play it. Let's see. Okay, let me know if you can't hear it, because let's see. I think we're
pathetic. Anyway, speaking of my most recent Arguments Against Atheism video, I asked atheists to answer the simple question: why ought we hold true beliefs as opposed to any beliefs that provide utility? And the answers that I at least did get were so unbelievably stupid that that was the fruit of the video, is just watching the comments. Now, our good buddy Answers in Atheism specifically had a couple of responses to this question. Again, for those listening, the question is, why ought we hold true beliefs as opposed to any beliefs that provide utility? That includes true and false beliefs. Now, I was so inspired by Answers in Atheism's responses that I crafted my own new segment. I was so inspired, I made a whole new segment showing.
I am so happy about this. I'm just vibrating. This is like the best Christmas present I have ever done.
How dumb these comments. And I figured out a way to turn your dumb comments, to bring them to life. Okay. So let's look at this new segment I'm bringing on behalf of Answers in Atheism's comments to my videos. Here's Answers in Atheism and his dumbass comments.
I take your dumbass comments and I bring them to life.
How your tiny brain cannot understand this continues to baffle me. No, we are animals. We make squeaky noises at one another, and this is called language. One kind of squeak is about truth. If I squeak at my kid and ask him if he put the garbage out to the curb, he will squeak back that yes, the garbage is put to the curb. This is the concept of truth for animals. Now, if my kid squeaks at me and asks, so if God is in the cloud sphere, I squeak back that, no, this is not true. There you go, Bob. Answer this one.
Notice how that Answers in Atheism, I can't believe you still go by the name Answers in Atheism, didn't tell me why I ought to hold true beliefs over false beliefs. You merely gave an example of a descriptively true belief that your son took the garbage out.
Okay, descriptively true belief that your son took the garbage. Okay, we're talking about language, right? We're talking about the word true, and he's completely descriptive. And I mean, the guy is so confused about life, and
Yeah. I care so little about the brain rot he spews. Even if you could lose enough brain cells to make sense of this, it's just the fact that he sucks so much. His like whole ortho bro shtick. I've seen that a million times. What's especially weird about him and sucks so much about him is the bigotry side of it. In this very chat from the video that you're showing, people were in the fucking chat declaring themselves proud bigots, which is like such an insane concept, right? Like, even if you disagree with how the word bigot is used currently, to apply that to yourself and say it makes you proud to do it is disgusting. Like, he is a revolting human being, so it doesn't really matter so much what he thinks about like philosophy and other stuff. I'm still just stuck on the fact of him pandering to neo-Nazis and freaks like that. I've seen them in his chat, and being such a fucking rank hypocrite on both sides because his own children are mixed race. So a bunch of those people hate him and his family for existing. At the same time, they're like applauding him and calling themselves proud bigots in the chat. And I asked him straight up in the chat, and of course he ignored it. Hey, is it kind of weird for you to like kind of be pandering to these people who are calling themselves proud bigots when you have mixed race children? Like, and of course he ignored it. I don't think he gets an answer. But if he wants to debate, that would be a great subject to debate. So if you want to debate, let's debate that, man.
He's mostly afraid to come on anyone else's channel because then he can't manage and run his little clips and with his people. And I've even he could have run it to both channels, or he could have sniped me like he usually does, but no, he wouldn't. So anyway, let's go through the rest of my comments, and then we'll get into this truth bit and talk a little bit about how he's what Jim Bob does is definitely, I think it's called gaslighting, because you answer the question and he says you haven't answered the question, or you give him an argument and he said it's not an argument, and it's like over and over again, and it's like, wait a minute, dude, what language are you speaking? Like, I don't know, it's really weird. But anyway, well, I love the way this thing reads my comments. It gets rid of all my speech defects and everything. It's pretty cool. I don't know how he does it. If you guys actually understood what is being said in the Bible, you would be very afraid.
I'll explain this.
This idea of making morality and truth and logic some sort of rational idol misses the point entirely. You have no idea what having faith actually means. I worry that this makes you dangerous.
Was that an answer to my question? I thought my question was, why ought we hold true beliefs over anything? I didn't realize I asked you your shitty opinion on what the Bible.
No, you did not, Jim Bob, but I offered it anyway because I'm generous.
Says. And I don't care what you think is dangerous. What are you saying? Gibberish.
Okay, numbers. Just that true beliefs are generally applicable. False beliefs do not work generally, but may work in some specific instance. Utility is a broad word. One could argue that any action we take is intentional and therefore utilitarian. You are very dumb, my friend. You're out of your league when you pretend to do philosophy.
Take your dumb.
I love it.
Yeah,
isn't that great?
I understand why you said you were shivering with ecstasy over this, because yes, it's a phenomenal Christmas gift. He's playing the arguments that refute him for his audience, for you.
And he doesn't get it at all.
You should take this animation. This looks great.
I know, if I could only get that. I don't know if Jim Bob did that drawing. I love that drawing, and and the not having a shirt on. I mean, that is just an excellent touch. And he's got my headphones and everything. I mean, this is This is fucking bizarre, man. I mean, this is uncanny how great a job he did.
Yes.
I don't know, like I don't know if I'm not sure, but this is good. Thank you, Jim Bob.
Yes.
Okay, so true beliefs are generally applicable. Okay, what that means, okay, there's a guy named Donald Hoffman that's running around saying that there's no such thing as space-time reality because we perceive it that way, but we evolved. And because we evolved, there's no reason for us to have evolved true perception, that we couldn't, that our perceptions are obviously an illusion, right? And a lot of people believe that, and a lot of poor atheists believe it, but it's simply not true. Because if an organism is evolving and it comes up with some totally false way of perceiving what is going on in its environment, if its environment just changes a little bit, it's no longer going to work. So you have to basically evolve something that actually works in that environment. And it turns out that space-time, my friends, is really fucking real. Like, for instance, people will look at a table and say, oh, well, the table's not really solid because science found out that atoms are mostly space. And it's like, well, look, dude, you're not a fucking neutrino. If you were a neutrino, it would look like mostly space, but you're not a fucking neutrino. You're a human organism. You are just about the same size as the table. And if you hit your head on it, it is going to act just like a solid object. So you are perceiving it well. So that's my argument for realism, basically. But anyway, so back to beliefs. If you have, if you've developed some utilitarian fictional belief about something, for instance, Scott mentioned something in the chat about being adopted. So you don't know that you're an adopted child, right? And then when you're 15 years old, you get a genetic disease. Okay, that fictional belief that you are actually with your biological parents is no longer going to work for you. So the reason why we want to get to the truth is because it is generally effective to have a true belief. A true belief will work in a number of different contexts and situations, but a fictional belief will not. Otherwise, fictional beliefs like Christianity would be just fine. I mean, we could believe this whole creation myth and say, oh, yeah, this is just so wonderful and it answers all my questions. Wait a minute. What does that sound like? It sounds like them. It's exactly what they're doing. They've come up with this fictional story about creation, and it works for them. And they're complaining that we don't know what truth is.
Or the story about a God figure raising from the dead, or a story about multiple loaves and fishes being multiplied in order to feed a crowd of 5,000 people. There's lots of useful fictions that religions adopt and continue with.
Yeah. It just blows me away that they're apparently incapable of doing any self-examination at all. I mean, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with humans?
He's just a grifter, basically. He's making money off of catering and pandering to a specific kind of audience in a very specific kind of way. It's really weird that he specifically is doing that because, like I mentioned previously, like he himself is married to a non-white woman and has non-white children that a bunch of the people that he's catering and pandering to consider subhuman just because they're not literally 100% full-blooded white. And it's like he will stare that elephant in the room in the face and just completely stampede past it, not answer it at all, completely ignore it. Or he'll play the victim and be like, oh, how dare you bring up my kids, even though he will attack other people's children at the drop of a hat. He did it to me like 30 seconds within meeting me. Like, oh man, he sucks so bad. And the creationism thing is a really small part of what he does, actually. He's mostly just pandering to bigots and misogynists and fucking neo-Nazis and really just garbage people, you know, people who call themselves proud bigots and really hate trans people and gay people and, you know, non-straight, non-white, you know, non-Christians pretty much, which is a lot of people. And they think it's justifiable and will openly say so. And yeah, no, they're a really, really disgusting table at the giant middle school lunchroom that is YouTube. And I really did want to expose them a little bit. And I'm glad you were feeling so motivated about this, Mike. I wanted to take some more time to collect some more data, but I think we have more than enough after he made a live stream that became basically explicitly about you and me today. So
yep,
I think that's cool.
Yeah. Right prior to that, he was pretending he didn't know who you were, even though he was talking to you in chat the other day.
Yeah, yeah, of course. He deleted all the comments I made about what happened, explaining it all and telling him I had receipts that Dave collected from the chat. He didn't get all of them, but he got more than enough.
What a little weenie coward he is.
Yeah.
He seems like, no matter how many times I call him Numbits or Dimbob or Dimknob or whatever the hell, he never blocks me for some reason. He really likes me. I think he looks up to me as a father figure.
Oh, Maya says she thought you were done with him, but Maya, I think Mike might be doing me a favor here. This might be my fault again, because I'm new to all this, and
you know me. I'm good for my word, but only for about 15 minutes. I get well. He said that when he started this thing, what was this, arguments against atheism? He said atheists are going to be triggered. Yeah, we get really stupid shit. And when you gaslight us, we get triggered and we give you airplay. But I'm not doing him any favors. He's got like 4 watching him. And you know those bigots you're talking about, Austin? They're paying him. Yeah. They're paying his bills.
Yeah. They're sending them hella super chats.
This is exactly why Trump became the Republican mega foundationalist he is, because they're paying him, because they're giving him money, because they're voting for him. This is what happens.
Oof. Yikes. We might have to ban this here PMARS guy from the chat, because that openly declaring yourself a bigot shit ain't going to be flying over here, I don't think, will it?
Yeah, where's
This is your one warning, Mars.
Yeah, I'm gonna time you out here. Put you in timeout. Okay, time you out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So P Mars, you don't bring that shit here. Anyway, he has been banned from this channel before. Well, in fact, his P Mars account is banned, but now he's got P Mars versus atheism. So. Yeah, just keep timing him out. He's not really saying anything. Oh, speed of sound doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, that's what we're hearing from Bob. So anyway, my argument about truth is something. It's a word, and what it means is like, okay, I pick up a cup of coffee. I know it's true that I have coffee in my hand. It's no more complicated than that. You don't need to read books on metaphysics to figure out what's true and what's false, and what a true belief is. And the reason he's bent out of shape, should we play his video? It's only about 2 minutes.
He's in the chat. So I assume he's probably streaming us right now.
Yeah, Jim Bob, we gave you our arguments, but either you're too dumb.
We're literally doing them at the moment.
It's like, you're making this big deal. This truth has to be metaphysically grounded. We have to find foundations for truth and God is one such foundation. Well, I could say that Santa Claus is another such foundation, because Santa tells me what's good and what's bad, and when I'm naughty and when I'm nice. I get all my morality from Santa on the North Pole, because like somebody wrote down what Santa inspired them to say, right? I watched many Santa movies, and I know what's naughty and what's nice. I mean, come on, dudes. These people.
There's so much evidence, Mike. The gifts say from Santa on them. Argument over.
I know. And I've seen them at the mall. I mean, God, I've actually seen them in person. And
yeah. No, I was gonna say like we said, we were talking before we went live, and I was really wanting to jump in and go live because I wanted to talk about this. Jim Bob seems to be a bit of a sadist, like you were saying. He likes to gaslight you and say, "Oh, your argument is this. Your argument is that. Oh, you have no arguments for this. You have no answers, even though you answered and explained and gone through and like repeated it and repeated it and repeated it and re-explained it. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, even breaking it down to the logical syllogisms just to make it as fucking spoon feedable as possible to him. And he's a broken record. He's using the ad nauseum tactic, which it works for some people, but it has its major drawbacks, like the fact that he has 16,000 subscribers, but he only gets like 200 or so viewers on his live chats when he goes through. He is really sadistic and kind of a narcissistic kind of person a little bit. And I bristle usually at calling people narcissists, but I really think he is, because specifically he's very damaging to his family. Like, I can't believe his wife is still with him. Like, Megan, if you're watching this, you're with a man who is catering to people who think you and your children are subhuman. Like, leave this guy. You can do better. I saw your picture. You're pretty cute. Like, come on. Megan, you can do better than this guy. You're a sister, right? And he's on his YouTube channel saying, brothers are crashing planes and killing people because of affirmative action. Blah, 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 blah. How does that make you feel when your own husband says that? The father of your children. What is it going to be like when your kids are old enough and they go on YouTube and look you up and see that? And it's not true at all, by the way. If you go on Google and you look up aviation statistics, brothers aren't crashing planes. This guy's a fucking neo-Nazi from 4chan spewing bullshit that he heard on the fucking internet. He has no idea what he's fucking talking about. He's just making racist bullshit up when he doesn't have bullshit to spew, or regurgitating other bullshit from other racists he heard and catering to this small audience. And he's using those ad nauseum arguments and creationism as a result. Very small part of what he actually does. Most of it is the catering to hardcore right-wing bigots and transphobes and racists and shit like that, which, like I said, really damaging to his family. And the guy just sucks. That is the point of the episode.
So what happened to StreamYard that they're not putting people's names up anymore? I don't have a comment up, and our names aren't showing up. Why is that?
Oh, yeah.
When did they start doing that?
I do not know.
Let me
put
see.
my name in beforehand.
Yeah.
I did not.
I'm not showing the names. Okay, let me try this. Okay, now the name should come back when you shut off comments. Oh, no. They fixed something. Oh, horrible. So, Jim Bob, you're not very smart, Jim Bob, and you just know how to run your mouth. You're a good stand-up comedian. You're a great artist. Your singing ain't so bad. I don't like your choice of songs. I think you should do a little rock and roll or alternative. But you're very talented, but you're not very smart. Because you can't, you're incapable of any form of self-reflection, self-critique. You don't know how philosophy works. You think it's you maybe have like a junior high understanding of philosophy and analyzing things like what is truth and all that. And you could read a lot of books about it, but I'm guessing you wouldn't understand them. So it's okay not to be brilliant. You know, it's okay to be average or less than average as you are. I mean, it's all right. Yeah. A lot of people get the, you know, they get the brain that they're born with and they never work on it. So
yeah. And it wouldn't be so bad like if he were just stupid quietly, but he's very, very loudly stupid and loudly wrong, and just kind of really toxic. And he especially is toxic in a way that is really aggravating to me, because he pretends to be masculine. He pretends that, you know, being a freakish little troll, little, you know, poker and jibber kind of guy is really masculine and really tough, when it's actually like really impish and pathetic. And so like I kind of wanted to call him out on it and be like, yo, you think you're a tough guy? Like, somebody in his comments in that live stream where, you know, he was saying other hateful stuff that would make anybody want to plow their fist into somebody's face. Somebody said, you know, fight me, Jim Bob. And I said, I would fight Jim Bob. Like, let's do it. You know, you want to talk smack about people's children and, you know, be a racist online and have fans that are talking about being proud bigots, and you don't be like, hey, that's not what I'm about. Get out of my chat. No, he embraces those people. He loves those people. I don't know how his family is doing with that. Like, that seems like it would be really unstabilizing to my family. Like, because we have a racial mix in my family. Like, half of my family is from like straight up Mexico City. And, you know, so a lot of them don't even speak English. I try to retain mi español so I can communicate with them, you know, when I see them. But if like anybody on the like white side of my family was out like doing streams where people were saying, you know, we're proud bigots, I think my family would be like, yeah, we should maybe not talk to them anymore. I don't think we're going to invite them to Thanksgiving anymore. Like, this is really, really bad what this person is doing. I'm ashamed of them, and I would renounce probably my familial relationship to them, or, you know, I would only admit it very embarrassedly and like very apologetically, hoping the person doesn't want to, you know, punch me for being the friend of this panderer to proud bigot. And yeah, no, it was upsetting for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to go over there. I had to, you know, tell him what's up and talk to him a little bit. And it went how I predicted it would go, I would say. And he gave me the exact reaction I wanted, because it just proved to me, you know, the real quality of his character, which is that, you know, he is a person who is profiting off of racial hatred while having children that he's supposed to care for and protect, who will no doubt for sure be harmed in their lives at some point by the very racial hatred he stokes and incites. It's very disgusting and peculiar and disturbing to me. So yeah, if he wants to do a debate, that's the subject I want to debate with him. Why he does that, why he doesn't, you know, have an issue with doing that. I don't think I would get an answer on that I would find satisfying.
We got a question here by Hank. Why didn't you go on Made by Jim Bob show Answers in Atheism? I have been on there, and twice he threw me out just when we started talking, because he didn't like my answers. And the other thing is, it is a show. You see, it's a show for Jim Bob where he can put up his memes and he can pander to his racist, bigoted audience. And I don't do like shows. I don't appear on comedy shows, you know. And like if Jim Bob wants to come over here and talk to me or set up a stream and put it on both our channels, you know, we can have a conversation where neither of us can throw the other out.
Me and Mike have proved we're all channels debaters. Like I debated Eric Jewell until he melted down like a child. I debated fucking Kent Hovind. You know, people more famous than this dipwad. Like, and for him to say, you know, you have to come on my channel. No, he can come over here and we can talk about what we want to talk about because I'm not interested in his Magic Zupo. He doesn't have anything different than what Kent Hovind offers on that. He's a little Kent Hovind butt monkey when it comes to evolution. And I'm probably not even interested in discussing that with him. If we're going to discuss anything, I want to discuss why he is so narcissistic and cruel to his family by perpetuating fucking racial hatred that's going to hurt his own kids. Like, has he really not thought about this? And this is part of why I think he's a narcissist. I think because narcissists are especially likely to abuse their kids in that kind of way, to not see, you know, not see what they are doing to their children. And, you know, it's really messed up that he's using that to get super chats from dudes who for sure have swastika tattoos, who would love nothing more than to do awful, unspeakable things to his mixed-race children that he's supposed to love and protect. But he doesn't care about that because he's narcissistic. He cares more about the bank balance going up than he does about his own children. So he's happy to pander to bigots for money, which if there's any argument I would want to make, it would just be the question, how much is your soul worth to you, Jim Bob? Because holy crap, that sucks that you did that.
I don't understand how
you do that you continue to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
How does he account for his behavior and his bullshit and his fucking with other people when he's such a Christian, such an Orthodox, spiritual, Eastern Orthodox Christian? I just don't understand it at all. It's weird. I mean, God, you know, I'm in this 12-step program, and we had like these 12 steps that where you go through them and you kind of like, one of them is a 10th step, continue to take personal inventory, and we were wrong, promptly admit it. The whole idea behind it, is to constantly check on yourself and your own behavior and what you're doing to other people and how you're affecting other people and how you treat other people. And when you are wrong, promptly admit it. And that's kind of very similar to what they claim Christian values are. I don't understand how these weird Christians do this stuff. I don't know. Kind of bad. Anyway. I don't know. Should we play his video? His little arguments against atheism? So brilliant.
I mean, I did want to try to get this properly roasting this rather garbage fellow done in under like an hour or 3, if that's at all possible, because I do have other commitments. Like I got a gaggle of friends waiting for me that I gotta go meet at around 7:30, and it's about 40 minutes for me to get to them. It's 4 o'clock where I am right now, so like I got like
we're not going to spend too much time on this particular video because there's
I mean, we've already covered him a lot too. But he's pretty new to me, but I feel like I already have known him for years because he's just like Kent Hovind.
But there's there are some things we can talk about with truth, like philosophy is looking at things and trying to figure out exactly what these words mean and how they play out in our lives. And every human being on this planet, except for the ones that are in institutions or in a coma, know exactly what truth means, except Jim Bob. I mean, everybody knows what truth is. True is, okay, I put my foot on the floor and the floor meets my foot. That's truth. Very simply, we are organisms. And in order for us to behave and operate in the world, we have to know what is true about where the walls are, where the floor is, where the rocks are, what branch is going to fall on our head, whether or not the lion is chasing us. I mean, truth is something that grew up with. All mammals have a concept of truth. Raccoons, for God's sake, know what it is, but Jim Bob doesn't. Why is that? I mean,
well, because he's a dime a dozen creationist who has been educated mostly by Kent Hovind videos, Kent Hovind nonsense. He probably, failed his middle school, high school, any college biology courses he took, if he took any of those. I doubt he did. It seems he more likely took, a couple of introductory philosophy courses and focuses mainly on those topics. And, the bigotry and the racism, those guys love his stuff. They gobble it right up and spit out super chats for him. Mwah, thank you. Thank you, Jim Bob, for justifying my racism. Oh my gosh, my grandfather is calling me right now. I gotta take this,
okay.
1 second.
Okay, you probably should mute yourself if you're talking to Granddad. My granddad died like 50 years ago. 60 years ago. Yeah, 60 years ago he died. Hey, Scott, are you with us, Scott? Oh, lost to be able to actually take.
Yeah, I'm here. I took some Benadryl before we got started. I've been fighting migraines and stuff all day.
Why is it that? Okay, so Jim Bob, your answer's right here, Numbit. I've answered your challenge and your question about why making up a belief, a fictional belief that just happens to work, doesn't work in every case. It'll work in like specific cases, but true beliefs work because that's the way the universe works. There's like when you look at the network of beliefs, when something is true, like if something is true about how far away my cat is right now, assuming my cat stays there, I could measure it with any number of yardsticks. I could use metric. I could use, whatever the hell these Americans use. I could use, I could triangulate it. I could use a string of a certain length and copy it over and over again. There's a number of different ways that I could reach my cat and come up with the same exact numbers, that all match each other, that all interconvert in very intricate and a multitude of ways, like a very complex multitude of ways. And the way the universe works and the way our knowledge works and the way epistemology works is that we developed as an organism that is capable of multiple sensory impressions, multiple actions that we can do, all of which work in reality. And then we developed a language around that, and there you have it. That's truth. But it has to be real truth. This utilitarian fictional truth only works in specific instances, like creationism, for instance. It works until you look at a rock, and then it quits working. Young Earth creationism. It quits working as soon as you look at a rock, if you really can see the rock, Master Pastor, what did Master Pastor do? And who is Master Pastor? I don't know. Somebody got rid of him. Anyway, hi, Stephanie. And,
he was throwing the R word around.
Maya. Anyway, we got a few people watching. Let's see. Probably a few Jim Bob bigots have come over to spew garbage in our chat. So we got a lot of mods out there, and they are empowered to get rid of them at will. So, common objection to systematic deception concerns, and also let's see, Mike, what you're saying is a common objection to systemic deception concerns, and also to hacking scientific realism. I'm not sure. You could have worded that better. I am a scientific realist. I believe, and I'm also a natural realist, and I believe that just the average human or even the average raccoon is perceiving reality exactly as that particular organism should perceive it. Because as organisms, we all have what is called a perspectival slice of reality. Reality interacts with us in a way, and what perception is and understanding and knowledge and all of that is our fit to the environment and how we interact with the environment. And you can never look at just the human part of it or just the environment part of it. You have to look at the relationship between the two. So there we go. Saxon, slurs are not okay. Can't believe. Okay, who's Saxon? I'm not sure who that is. Mentioned. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, let's play his little video. We'll give Jim Bob some playtime. Oh, wait. We got the trigger.
They're going to trigger the online atheists, so pay attention.
Trigger us. So, like, is being triggered like some sort of an admission of weakness? When somebody says something really stupid or just horrendous, is being triggered by that supposed to be weak?
Right.
Because, I'm triggered by a lot of shit. So what?
So that goes back to my thing about him probably being a sadistic narcissist is, he gets off on the idea that you're triggered. Oh, I triggered you. You're so triggered.
Austin, you're completely black. You don't even have an icon. You're just like a big black box and we can't see you. What happened to you? You've faded, my friend. Anyway, are you working on that? Whoa. What is happening? Are we still working here?
He's asking to add him again, but I think we'll have the same thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're black again. You're just a big black box, a big black void. There you are. Wait a minute. Now you're back. No, that's on StreamYard, but I'm seeing them live. So you're on there.
That's interesting.
Oh, StreamYard is
he's
probably
speaking, but I can't. Well, can we hear him?
Yeah, you can't hear him either.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can't see you on StreamYard, but we see you on the live stream. So
see me on StreamYard. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah,
it's technology stuff.
Yeah, glitches in the software. It's hard. They probably use fucking Java for to write this shit, or probably JavaScript. But it's just sad. Anyway, you don't want to be sad. You got to use Ruby to program.
I think that's part of it too.
Oops, sorry about that.
Would you remove them?
I was trying to get the image to come back in StreamYard, but
he says, I think being triggered is an insult to them because they fetishize stoicism. I think, that's part of it. And also they get off on sadism, just generally.
Who fetishizes stoicism and what?
People who are trying to be masculine, like Jim Bob is. Jim Bob's trying to seem masculine, like he's the trad husband, he's got the trad wife. And but of course, if you attack that image and you're like, actually, you're kind of shitty to your family. They're like, oh, how dare you attack me? You're so morally terrible compared to me, who runs around screeching about I'm a bigot and, calling people ableist and bigoted names. Like, he's such a hypocrite. Rank hypocrite. But anyways, sorry. I keep meandering off because I have so many opinions about him. Try not to ramble
about chickens, let alone truth.
If
Right.
you're going to be on YouTube, you really shouldn't have opinions.
Yeah. He's a machinist. I don't think I'd hire him to be a janitor personally.
No,
the first time he brought up some of the crazy crap he talks about, I'd be like, ha ha, yeah, that's great. Walk away, be like, yeah, can we fire that guy and get somebody else to sweep the floor who isn't a nutso bigot? Like, yeah, it was.
He's not a true machinist like Minnesota miner machinists. You know, they work with these huge machines and grind down train wheels,
Yeah.
you know, shit like that. Jimbo,
Yeah.
I think he mentioned that he like makes trinkets or something. I don't know, something weird.
Hilarious. Oh man.
Oh, I don't know what he said. He makes something ridiculous, but I don't think he makes anything anymore. He makes his money on his Jim Bob show. He's trying to get famous.
I wonder if that's why Megan is still with him, is because he's making money on the bigot train. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, he's being bigoted, but I'm getting money too. I'm getting my mink, you know, I'm good to go. Like sipping the martinis. I'm not minding it so much. You know, I might mind it down the line when my daughter calls me saying some crazy person with the weird tattoos screamed at her that she was a, you know, I won't even repeat the slur, but it rhymes with clink, you know.
Yep.
Because I don't even know what their ethnicity is. I just saw some pictures of them and know that they're not white because somebody else, one of Jim Bob's own fans, attacked him for having non-white kids, predictably. Shocking, right? And I didn't even care to check, but, you know, a racist won't care if that's correct. They just see not white. It doesn't really matter what slur they put on it. All that matters is that they're not white. Oh, but yeah. So he's a typical, you know, ortho debate bro, and I probably would not debate him just based on the fact that he's, you know, slimy as a person and also not about evolution.
He doesn't engage with you on your arguments at all. He just says, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, that's so dumb." Because, you know, I had a conversation with him about morality. And I've got this brand of physicalism where I take everything and I break it down to completely physical aspects. I mean, I am a true dyed-in-the-wool physicalist. Everything to me is physical, and I look at it that way. And so I don't talk about mind shit and all that stuff, and you know, unless of course I'm talking about philosophy of mind. But so I break it down, and I broke down morality to valence. That basically, if you have a single-celled organism and it's in a gradient, and it's in its best interest to go up the pH gradient to, you know, more alkaline waters, then it has a what you call a valence. It will go up or down. So it'll go down pH or up pH, right? And that is the very beginning, the very rudimentary beginning of morality. Because morality in animals is basically we do what our organism prescribes that we do. And what human organism prescribes that we do, we fall in love, we cherish children, we care about community, we care about each other, we don't want to fight, we abhor violence. I mean, we have all of this built-in morality that is all goes back to that single-celled organism. So, we talk about being, okay. Yeah, he's got some of his chats are really horrible. I've looked at them a few times.
And I wanted to put that out there because I have seen a couple people in the chat saying things like, "How is Jim Bob a bigot? Blah, 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 blah. I don't understand how he could be bigoted to say that dozens and dozens of black people and women are crashing planes when they're not. That's not bigoted at all." I don't even bother really justifying it to them by actually trying to quote things that he says to them, because they will just say nothing is good enough to say that somebody isn't actually a bigot. But I think a good thing to point out is, the people in his chat say, we're proud bigots. We're bigots and we're proud to be that. And he doesn't kick them out. He doesn't even call them out. He doesn't even say, no, that's not what I'm about. So fuck that. You can't say he's not. They say they are.
Yeah.
How can you say Jim Bob's a bigot? Jim Bob says he's a bigot. His fans say they're bigots. They celebrate their bigotry.
What did he say about black people? Black people crashing planes and women crashing planes. What
He said he perpetuated a racist myth that affirmative action was putting tons of unqualified brothers and sisters in the cockpit, and those brothers and sisters were just crashing planes left and right. No, affirmative action's gonna kill you.
Oh no!
It's the most stereotypical Nazi shit I've ever heard, like literally. and he did this on a stream with Tom Jump. You might know him, and of course Tom was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Jim Bob?" He probably did the exact same thing I did, which was immediately go to Google and type in aviation statistics and look it up and realize he's just pulling racist bullshit out of his ass. You need elbow-length gloves to find where Jim Bob got the idea that tons of brothers and sisters are crashing planes. I dare you, go to Google and type in, pilots or airplane crashes. See how many pictures of black people you see. See how many pictures of women you see. It is 99.9% white dudes. I guarantee it. So I don't know where he gets this idea from. And yes, it seems blatantly racist to me. And you say, "Hey, that's not racist," you're just too brain dead to help. I won't even bother engaging that argument. You can fuck right off.
Johnny Atheist. There's great channels that break down. Oh yeah, I've watched some of those. Everybody loves a good plane crash. It's the way we are. Oh, so I put the link out in chat for anybody to join. I don't think we're going to be on here too long. I mean, it's really simple, Jim Bob. We answered your question. You're not capable of understanding it for some reason. Utilitarian fictions do not work in general, and that's why we want to get to the real truth. And when it comes to like for instance, God created Adam and Eve, and that's what humans are for. Well, that doesn't work if you're looking into phylogenetics and genetics. And if you want to look into, if you're a researcher and you're looking into bone disease, for instance, it really helps to know that we are fish, because we still have some fish genes that are causing issues, So anyway, it doesn't work. Fictional beliefs. I mean, and who wants to believe a fiction anyway? As soon as I found out Santa Claus wasn't real, I abandoned the belief because it was yucky. It just didn't work anymore. It's like stupid. Sorry. Whatever. Scott, will you quit being so quiet?
I'm sorry. It's been taking too many antihistamines lately.
Oh, you're stoned out of your mind.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
Don't tell me this awful guy doesn't get your collar up a little bit. I know he's got mine up. I hope you're proud, Jim Bob. I know you love triggering people.
Oh my God. Okay, he says that evolution must accept racism. Why? Why does evolution entail that we accept racism? Tell me that, Jim Bob. Tell me why.
He's going to try and say that racism is a survival advantage. No, dude, it's a maladaptive coping strategy. It's something fragile little fucking pricks like you use to cope with the fact that you have tiny little white penises that you're ashamed of, and you hate everybody else, and you hate them for not believing in your God because it reminds you that on some level you know that your God is not real, and you're not going to really get to go sit with him forever in heaven. And even if your God was real, he would be like, you suck, smited, like boom, lightning, thunder, straight to hell. Like, this guy's garbage. Look at the people he's pandering to. Ugh. For you to claim yourself as a Christian, and this is something I want to say, as an atheist, I do actually like some Christians and think they're good people, and they would be horrified to be represented by this Jim Bob guy. Jim Bob is not a good representative of Christianity. You should not let him be the person who introduces you to Christianity, creationism, anything, politics, philosophy. He is both disturbingly uneducated and just a really awful human being. And I wish he would stop pandering to racists and not calling them. He's in our chat right now, Jim Bob. Jim Bob, why don't you call out people who say, I'm a proud bigot in your chat and say, no, I don't like that. I'm not about bigotry. Don't say that or don't come in my chat.
Swifter, come back.
Jim Bob, or are you gonna just keep spewing your cope?
Austin,
give me some more Jim Bob copium.
Next time we let Swifter comes in, we have to let Swifter talk. We lost him for some reason. We lost Swifter. Then. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Made by Jimbo. Yeah, I'll set it. What does Maya say here? Right on that. Do me a favor and make sure you hold your breath while you wait. Yep, Maya is just all about pandering to Jim Bob. She really cares about you, Jim Bob. She really cares about what you think and like that you exist. At least we care a little bit about you, Jim Bob. Enough to talk about you, especially after you did that wonderful AI at me. I mean, that was, oh my God, that's just so wonderful. Let's look at that again. There it is. This is just so good. I want to do all my shows this way. I want to like do scripts and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, well, kind of winding down. I don't know. You're pretty wound up there, Austin.
Oh, of course, because Jim Bob loves coming in and not answering the question, why don't you kick them out? Yeah. Oh, because bigot has developed its own meaning in my chat, you idiot. Yeah, okay.
Did somebody time this guy out again, Master Pastor? Because I guess they did. It looks like it.
I think, yeah.
That Master Pastor needs to be timed out for 30 minutes. That should cover it. Let's see. Okay, so Jim Bob says that bigot has developed its own meaning in his chat. You idiot. So he has a new meaning for bigot, but well, you know, do you have a new meaning?
I'm sure it'll catch on any day now.
It'll catch on. Yeah, I don't know what the new meaning for bigot is. Apparently, it's a good thing now for Christians to be bigots. I don't know. Let's see here.
This is precisely why this guy sucks. And that's why that's the title of the channel. It was nice of him to help me come in and prove the title of the channel live as we were filming it. And the beauty of it was I wanted to be more prepared for this, but I knew he might do that. So this went perfectly.
So Trey's dog training thinks we're too feminist to talk to him. So come on in. I pinned the chat. Come on in and talk to us about this stuff.
I don't know. I mean, let's see.
Okay, so sure. Bigot now means very, very large ingot. Okay, Swifter's back. Swifter's back. I'm putting Swifter in. Swifter, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Hold on a second. Let me get my headset.
What do you think about all this craziness? I'm going to turn you up a little bit here. Automatically adjust my volume. No, I don't want to do that. I don't trust.
Oh, there it goes. I don't really know how to use this. So what's the inference he's giving? He's saying something like you can't follow truth on atheism or something.
Yeah, atheists. Okay, he thinks that atheists are stuck with a utilitarian version of truth. He's going on something Apologia or somebody said. I think in his video. I forget where he says it exactly. But maybe.
You mean like a pragmatist theory of truth? What's a utilitarian theory of truth?
Yeah. Okay. Apologia said, I care not about the utility of Christianity, only the truth of Christianity. So Apologia suggested that he, I don't know what he,
Oh, so
yeah,
he's saying, no, look, you can't care about the truth. You can only care about like what's fit or something like that. Is that what he's saying?
What's
because
useful?
we're atheists. Yeah, yeah, we have no grounds for truth because we're atheists. Even though, I mean, it's true that the four of us are sitting here talking. I think. I don't know.
Well, there
I
are
mean,
several
it's
theories of truth, and when I ask him what he thinks truth is, he says God. So on his view, it's true
right.
that it's 2 + 2 = 4 is God, right? Like that's the semantics there.
Yeah. You know, and I've listened to philosophers go back and forth on this, and you know, and I have my own ridiculously naive realist view of physicalism and truth, and I can derive anything from that. And truth is one of those things. Truth is the organism's fit to the environment, or truth and knowledge are the organism's fit to the environment. I fit to my environment. I'm in my room right now. I'm sitting on a chair. I've got a cup of coffee. I've got a bunch of computer screens, and this is all true. And it does not have to be any more complicated than that. You can start talking about, the unreliability of senses and all the other bullshit, but none of it lands when every single human being, every morning when they get up, operate from the same naturalistic sense and fit to their environment, right? And that's all you need.
When you say fit, are you talking about simulating your environment as it is? So that's kind of how I view it as well. And then the definitions of truth are just like linguistic concepts.
Fit is a little deeper than that. Okay, when you start to develop, you know, you start out as a zygote, right? And you start to develop in the world. And as you act in the world, your brain slowly fits to the environment. It becomes like a dance between your brain and your body and the environment, and that dance has a certain fit to it, right? And if you fit well, you won't run into things. You know, you won't run into walls, or you won't, you know, miss things, or you won't die. Basically, you will live your life. And that's what I mean by fit. So fit is very interactive. You have to think of interaction between the organism and the environment. And there's also a developmental thing where every single organism starts out as one cell, starts to divide, and as it divides, its environment shapes that organism for a particular fit to that environment. Does that make sense?
I missed the part of it, but I think it does. But then, like, so I would call that like how you can naturalize function. But he's talking about like truth, right? Like, so like when you like say things like it's true that the cat is on the mat, I think it's a little bit more like kind of higher level than that or down the line. But I think that like what you're talking about is what I take to be true as well, about how
Yeah.
like normativity or functions naturalized and begins.
Yeah, well, there's this religious idea of certainty and absolutes and things like that, but it's almost like religion always appeals to those things. And I don't know if certainty and absolute do us any favor.
What do you mean by that? Like,
Well, I don't need to be certain that my coffee is here in order for me to take a drink. I mean, like certain in the absolute metaphysical sense. So I think certainty and absolutes, in some sense, are fictions that we've created about the world, right?
oh yeah, I mean that's
world
almost
can
every
never-
philosopher agrees with what you're saying there. It's full fallibilism.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I mean, even
So-
the Christian philosophers, it's only precepts that deny that because they're insane. They don't realize that their view like destroys their ability to know anything, including having hands.
Right. Yep.
They'll often say, look, you can't know something unless you have certainty. Well, if you rely on your sense perception to know things like it's sunny outside or you have hands, then you don't know you have hands or that it's sunny outside because your mind is obviously fallible. And if they deny that their mind is fallible, that's just insane because they need a theory that can explain them being wrong in the past.
Yeah. And the
It's
other
like
thing
precept just like destroys themselves. Sorry.
this idea of fallibility in the senses. The senses are fallible, not maybe 0.001% of the time. 99.9% of the time, our senses are doing just exactly what they're supposed to do. and keeping us, working in our world or acting in our world. They work very, very well. There are times when they don't. Like I've got this example. Once and this really happened, I opened the back door, the east side door into my yard, and I live on a river valley, and I saw a black crow in a tree. And I have to preface this a little bit. I always try to very quickly review subjectively what I went through. So I record certain facts about my own subjectivity all the time. Anyway, I was doing that because I was studying philosophy of the mind. I opened the door and I saw a black crow in the tree. Well, then the black crow started to run around, spiral down the tree branch, and I realized it was a black squirrel. And all of this happened within about half a second. So I went from, my senses being eluded to a truth, that it was a black squirrel. I figured out what it was. And we do that all the time. That's how our brain works. Our brain makes this prediction all the time about what we think we're going to see. But then some of the time it will get corrected. And it almost feels like something slaps your brain a little bit, like cognitive dissonance, that you're all of a sudden it's not a crow, it's a squirrel, and it'll be sort of a surprise feeling. That's just the way brains work. So
yeah, I mean, everybody has experienced something like that. And I don't think the precepts realize, like people like Jim Bob, when they argue from infallibilism, the fact that those things exist or happen will force them to say that they don't know almost anything.
Yeah.
It's really hard to convince them of it because they're so motivated and stupid. But
yeah, I mean,
it's true.
You can't project from your senses failing some of the time to your senses failing a lot of the time or all of the time, or
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, look, if you admit that, like, sometimes you can have like a hallucination, or you can like misperceive something, like the crow and the squirrel, whatever, then that opens you up to being wrong about everything, because if there's some small chance of it happening. And if that's the case, and if you accept that, which you have to because it happens, then on their view, you can't have knowledge, because on their view, to know something entails epistemic certainty. That's the thing. That's why nobody is an infallibilist. The only people that are infallibilists are people who are skeptics who already think you can't have knowledge for that reason.
Yeah, I don't think, like I say, certainty doesn't do us any favors, looking for certainty. In fact, certainty would kind of suck, I think. I mean, if I were omniscient, that would really suck.
Well, you would have to be omniscient. It's just whether or not, like, the things that you count as knowledge, you can be certain of. And, like, maybe there are some things like analytic truths, or like knowing your mental states, but like our everyday knowledge can't be certain. Just can't.
Well, it's like evolution. If I were absolutely certain of everything about evolution, I would quit studying it. But, this morning, 4 hours, I got up and I studied developmental gene regulatory networks, because I'm not certain about how things evolved. I keep wanting to know more and more and more. If I were certain, I would just abandon the whole project. It's kind of like when I deal with somebody like Jim Bob, shit. Sorry. I'll talk about them for a little while, and then I will get done with them, and then I'm done with them. Then they're boring and they're no longer, of any use to me. So
I've tried to talk to him like so many times, but he just doesn't want to do it. It's really annoying. He'll only want to talk to you in safe spaces. I've just kind of got him as well, but I saw this training reminded me.
Have you been on his? Have you gone into his channel and tried to talk to him?
A couple times. Really? I've been in his Discord. I did a whole gauntlet of his bullshit, and just like it was. I mean, that was the first time I spoke to him. I spoke to him like a dozen times, and it's always just complete nonsense. He is like a way to run away or like appeal to a moderator. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the dude like half understands that he has problems with his views, but he has motivated to not really kind of fully grasp it.
Yeah, well, he's doing well, on his channel. So even if he did change his mind about something, he wouldn't be able to talk about it publicly, because he'd lose subscribers like crazy. He'd lose his viewers. He's attracted a certain amount. I mean, if you look at his chat, he's really got some toxic people in there that are just really pissed off at the world.
Yeah, his server is full of like crazy people, dude. Like they're like flat earther, like insane people, dude.
Yep.
On mental illness. The first time I spoke to him, he kind of conceded. I gave him the inference of like shared mutations between separately created species on his view, and he basically said he didn't have an answer to his DMs.
Yeah.
But he I don't know. So there's like a part of him that like kind of like levels with you and like wants to engage and is earnest, but then like when he's on a show or in public, I guess he's not like that.
Yeah. I once had kind of a good talk with him about Eastern Orthodoxy and spirituality, because I've always been, my grandpa was Eastern Orthodox Christian, and I've always been fascinated with the spiritual nature of that. They call it was it theodicy? Is that what it is? The being like God? I forget what it is.
Well, no, theodicy is the problem of suffering and evil.
Okay, so what is that term from Eastern Orthodox that means becoming more like God or becoming like God? I forget what it is.
Sanctification?
Oh no, it's something else. Jim Bob would know it, but I think he left. Jim Bob got tired of us. Anyway, Swifter, what is your background? You seem to know a bit about philosophy, so what is your background on that?
Oh, I mean, I just read. I don't really have any formal training. I took a few philo classes in college, but nothing formal.
Okay, yeah, but you sound pretty reasonable. I'm always looking for somebody to bounce my physicalism off of, and I ran into a guy about a month back, and it turns out he was kind of like really into quantum unreality, and it wasn't quite my cup of tea. But I've always I've got this whole approach to physicalism where I start with what I know and then go, basically try to come up with something I call a God's eye view, which is a deceptive name for a completely physical look at what is in the universe and what it could do. And then I go around and I start looking at the biology of what I am. And then, and only then, do I start talking about mind and philosophy of the mind. And so I've got this, and I would call it very close to found-herentism. Susan Hack, I think. You familiar with found-herentism? You're muted if you're talking.
Yeah, I know found-herentism.
Okay. But it's sort of a network idea about epistemology and knowledge, and then what it does is you go around and you know all the things that a normal human or even a raccoon knows about the world, and that's the basis of your epistemology, and then we branch out and we start looking at science and what science has told us about what we are. And like without science, I wouldn't realize science of some sort. I wouldn't know that I have a brain in my head and that it has neurons in it, right? And then so you go and then you start looking at all the biology and you start reframing what you know based on this newer scientific view of what we are and what the universe we are in is and how we interact. And that's kind of the basis of my physicalism and naturalism. And I always wanted to just sit and talk with somebody about it and find out what's wrong with it. I've talked to ChatGPT and I have to train it every time because it keeps making mistakes. It keeps leaning to this irrealism, which I don't agree with. I'm also a realist about universals and math, numbers. That numbers really exist in some fashion in the universe, and that everything exists as a structure. So I'm not a nominalist, and I don't know. The thing is that I don't know if any of the shit I believe is true.
Yeah, I'm a structuralist too. I want to call myself a nominalist because
Oh, you botted out on us. We're missing what you're saying. If you're saying, don't know what happened. Can't hear you, Swifter. Should I take you out, put you back in? Does that work, Scott?
So I'm putting Austin back in. He should be back in.
Oh, Austin's back in. Yeah, Austin's back. But Swifter just suddenly went out and okay, I put you back in, Swifter. Let's see if we can hear you now. And where's Austin? Oh, you can't. Yeah, for some reason, Austin is like, we can't see him, but I can see him on YouTube.
That's odd.
Still can't hear you, Swifter. God, what is going on? Is it the internet? Oh, Pocket Locker. What are we talking about? Jim Bob. We're talking about Jim Bob Pocket Locker. We were. Now we're talking about something else. We got tired of Jim Bob. Jim Bob doesn't take. He takes about as long as a short to deal with as a short drink of water. There's not much you can say about him. His entire counter argument is that's not an argument, or that doesn't answer the question. That's it. That's all he's ever said of any value.
Swifter had to go answer a phone call, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Oh, I should mute when I apologize for that. I'm usually have better etiquette than that. Yeah, he did this wonderful. Okay. Are you still with us, Pocket Locker? He did this wonderful thing where he did like an animation of me. Oh, where is it? Okay, there it is. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I'm going to do it again. Let's see. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. When you pretend to do philosophy,
I take your dumb.
generally applicable. False beliefs do not work generally, but may work in some specific instance. Utility is a broad word. One could argue that any action we take is intentional and therefore utilitarian. You are very. I think this is just wonderful. I have got to figure out how to do this, and I got to start doing scripts like this because this is exactly what I want. Where's Dave? Where's Captive Desk? How come you're not here, Captive Desk?
Well, he's been lurking in the side chat, but he may be busy off and on with different things.
Okay, because we got to figure out how to do this. Like he must have given samples of my voice because it really did my voice well, except it did it better than I do it. He did my voice better than I do it. I really appreciate that, Jim Bob. That is pretty cool. See? We should never abandon our enemies entirely because sometimes they do something that's surprising and wonderful. Anyway. Okay. Well, anyway, Swifter, if you're lurking out there, should I wait for Swifter or should we end it here?
That's a good question.
Well, we got 21 people watching. I don't know. We may as well keep talking, I guess.
Sure. The objective, whatever, is asking if we ever answered the question about should we believe things that are true rather than things that are utilitarian.
Oh, God, I'm going to do it again. Okay, I'm going to do it again for you. It's right here in the comment. Okay. The true belief is true beliefs are generally applicable. That means they work in any context, in any situation. Okay, you might have some idea about that a certain object is a certain distance away, but you're wrong about it. Like you've made something up that it's closer than it is. And that'll work for that one particular instance where you're just standing there. But then if you start walking, you may end up knocking your head on it if you don't get the right distance. Okay, if you don't come up with the true distance that the object is from you, a lot of things may not work. If you throw a knife at it, you may totally make a mistake. You have to kind of know what's true. That's why just fiction or utility doesn't work. We try to come up with the belief that works in as many different contexts and as many. How can I explain this? Let's see here. I think I can explain this. Okay, where the hell are you? Okay, like you've got like an object, okay, and this is something OBJ 1, right? And you're out here sensing it, that sort of thing. So you're thinking about the object, right? And there are a number of different things you can do for it. You can reach out and grab it. You can look at it. You can smell it. You can shoot at it. You can try to blow it up with a nuclear missile. All of these are different things, and they're all going to have like different metrics. They're going to have different ways of dealing with this thing, right? And if you have a true belief, it's going to work across all of these situations. Okay, and that's what people do not understand about how the physical world works. These apologists do not understand about the way the physical world works, that it works across all these different contexts. Like when you can triangulate that object, you can come up with like measurements of all kinds. You can do all sorts of math on that object, only if you have a true belief about that object. So that's why utilitarian beliefs are, and the other thing is that Jim Bob in his video, we didn't go through the video, and we probably should have. Jim Bob in his video said something about, he compared it to belief in angels or something. Like, why not just believe in angels? I mean, if I believe this cup is on my table and half full of coffee and I can take a sip, he conflated that with believing in angels. It's like, well, I can't do anything with angels. I can't see them, triangulate them, touch them. They have absolutely no effect on me. Why would I believe in them? On the other hand, my cup, I can grab it, I can throw it, I can drink it, I can lick it, I can sniff it, I can do a whole bunch of things with my cup. So that's why I believe in true things, and that's why utilitarian doesn't work. Now, if that hasn't answered your question, then you have an issue in understanding things. What do you think, Scott? Austin, did I answer the question?
Well, you provided an answer, and
An answer,
yes,
right?
Yeah, they don't have to like your answer, but it's not something that we can't answer.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I just think utilitarian type of beliefs. If somebody who's curious and who wants to know reality, they just can't be sustainable, even if they are sustained for a long time. Sooner or later, somebody's going to expose that the emperor has no clothes. Did I drop out? I think I might have.
No, you haven't. I dropped out. I was muted. I didn't realize I was muted because I took a sip of that coffee. That's a true belief of mine. True belief about my coffee. What else do I need?
I think that the utilitarian type belief systems are just going to, fall apart when a curious person, it goes looking for what's actually true. And the only response is to persecute the people that are looking for the truth, or to accept that, we've been accepting a utilitarian type answer, going with what feels good rather than what is true. And it's just not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about science is science does this thing where it has, like, you might get a microscope, you might put it in a test tube and put some acid on it. You do all these different things with science, and I'm not showing my good notes. Good notes. Where's my good notes on show? Oh no, it went away. It went away. Anyway, I was drawing pictures about science. Science deals with this multiple ways of looking at something. You look at it with a microscope, and then maybe even a telescope if that works. But you look at it in a number of different ways. You cut it up, you interact with it. You end up with all of these verifiable things where you predict that it's going to work a certain way, and then it truly indeed works that way. And that's what science is taking this multiple perspective on something and looking at it in a number of different ways and coming up with models about how it works and all of that. And I like that. So anyway, Austin, you got anything?
I was going to say, to the point about Jim Bob being out of his depth, since that stream basically that he was doing earlier became about us, I was in the live chat pretty much asking him questions, while I was finishing up at work and calling him out to his fans. And oh my God, were they coping bad. And that's perfect because he's talking about us now. He's getting us views through the people on his channel. And, I'll talk a little bit more about that if we're getting ready to wrap up or whatever, because I do have points that I won't forget about that. But the point I want to make this about him being out of his depth, I asked him in the chat while we were basically having this impromptu debate on his channel, dude, you're such a philosophy expert. What are the main subjects of philosophy? And of course, he had nothing. I don't think he even ever answered the question. I finally just gave him the answer, which this is kind of why I was hoping Jay might be interested in giving us his thoughts on the subject, but I know he's probably a bit busy. He is a professor of genetics, and I know he's also a philosophy expert himself. I think he might be a professor of philosophy too. He's a big science man and a big philosophy man. I think he could probably back me up and just nod his head on this or say in the chat, the main subjects of philosophy are beauty, knowledge, morality, and I think there's one or two more, but they kind of all fall under those main three. Am I missing anything, Mike? Truth, beauty, morality,
being,
being, yeah, stuff that all kind of falls under knowledge, morality, beauty. Those are the main things. I think that some people say there's as many as 17 topics that philosophy covers. I think for a long time it was 5, but you can pretty much boil it down to actually just 3. Knowledge, morality, beauty are the main 3. That's my opinion of philosophy. I don't know. But Jim Bob, of course, has nothing, because his whole philosophy is just being an old head ortho bro who's been on 4chan so long, it's warped his brain. He doesn't know what real facts and data are anymore. He's been poring over really bad, really poor data sources for a long time, just, mostly 4chan spam. I recognize the tone of his stuff very well. And of course, those kinds of people really love it. And that's basically what his channel is. And if we are getting ready to wrap up, is that official or are we still going? Because we got okay. If we are getting ready to wrap up, my final thoughts are about, I'm so glad I got to, kind of raid his chat a little bit and made him, he's steamed and he's focusing on us. Get him looking at our channel, because hopefully his wife, hopefully Megan, sees his channel and knows that there are people out here who would support her if she decided to get away from this crazy person. They would understand completely and be willing to do a lot to help you, ma'am. And I hope so. I hope maybe she sees it and that might help her. And well, I also think that one of the reasons it was good to challenge him was because I got to point out that he's not really actually a very good source on masculinity either. He's actually kind of a dorky little dweeb and kind of sucks. Yeah. And I think that we pretty much proved the point that he's a dorky little dweeb who sucks. He's a racist. Get away from him, Megan. We'll help you. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping me with this, Mike.
Yeah.
Scott, you too. Swift.
You might do some more Jim Bob. I did.
Oh, for sure. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make a response to this.
Yeah.
I look forward to him avoiding all the tough questions, like why he doesn't kick the bigots out of his chat. Does he think his children are going to have positive opinions of the things he's done online when they become old enough to develop opinions about it? Like that, he's going to let them. He's probably going to be brainwashing them with creationism if he hasn't already, and all kinds of other crazy stuff. Yeah, no, he's going to avoid all the good questions and just pull whatever snippets he wants, but whatever.
Yeah. The main reason I wanted to do this is I wanted to show what he showed on his own screen, where I did answer the question about why, and they just don't accept the answer. It's like, you can't answer the question. That's all they got is, oh, that's not an argument. And I believe that's a kind of gaslighting that goes on, and it kind of drives us crazy. It triggers us. And we should be triggered by
Yeah.
people that are gaslighting. Like,
And,
you know,
and
if
it's kind of projecting too.
it is, yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's
Yeah.
pretty bad. You know, the thing is that I think there's a good person in there somewhere, but he's making money and he's become scum, and he is scum. I mean, he really is scum when you think about it with the that he says. Like when he plays any video of a woman, he'll go off on some feature of her looks or her voice, and he'll make fun of her. And it's just really, you know, I guess I've done that a few times, but very lightly. Like I'll make fun of how Jim Bob looks. He looks just like Tucker Carlson. It's like Tucker Carlson. He got all of his expressions from Tucker Carlson. Just watch him and think about Tucker Carlson. I mean, he does them just perfectly. But I mean, like he goes off on women in very, very misogynist ways. It makes him scum. You know, I would really not like to be that kind of a person. I would feel horrible about myself at the end of the day. I don't know.
A big part of what made me think he was scum was the fact that I have an autistic son, and within like 30 seconds of meeting me, he was like dropping autistic slurs and stuff. So it makes sense that someone who doesn't protect their own children from racist violence in the world, and in fact tries to help fan the flames of it himself, you know, not understanding that saying something like that would upset a parent and make them, you know, his kind of mortal enemy. So yeah, no, I told him straight up that the fact that he, you know, was bullying my child who has a genetic disability that he had from birth that he struggles with valiantly. Like, yeah, you know, let's find something your children struggle with and talk about that a little bit. And of course, oh my God, he's probably in conniptions that he got a taste of his own medicine. He doesn't like the taste of his own medicine. And I find that delicious and beautiful. So, you know, and I was willing to take it a step farther. Like I said, if Jim Bob ever wants to try and hash out our differences in another way, I'm willing to do that too. Like, let's go. So I even, Mike, I don't know if I said this. I'm kind of a little bit special, kind of crazy that I actually did this. I actually reached out to my old mixed martial arts promoter at Michigan Extreme Combat and asked them. I made it a public declaration. Hey, can you put me and this guy who's talking crap to me on YouTube on the next card?
Wow.
Wait, I shared the link with Jim Bob himself, since he was saying, "Oh, this guy doesn't want to actually fight me. He's too much of a chicken. I would beat him up." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think you.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if it actually happens and I get to actually beat the crap out of Jim Bob? And I would do it not because I want to inflict pain on Jim Bob so much, but for his wife to get to see him be dominated. That might be the kick that gets her to finally realize, oh, I should leave this fucking idiot. What's wrong with me? You know, but
you gotta pay-per-view, man. You gotta do it. I will definitely buy that shit.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Anyway, okay, you guys.
Is there any other final thoughts? I think that's everything I got. Jim Bob sucks.
Nope, I don't have any final thoughts other than I did answer your damn question. You just don't understand it. And Scott, you got any final thoughts, Scott? Final? Oh, that's too final. Well,
I think we might have lost Scott.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Scott is.
Yeah.
He's probably
trying. No, I was across the room doing a little sweeping. Sorry about that. No final thoughts. Didn't really have anything left to say.
You know, the word wussy could also be pussy when it comes to me, because my cats, they went outside and snow blew in under the deck where their roof is, and their little paws got wet. So I went out and actually swept the snow for them little bastards. I mean, that's how I think that's masculine, right? Going out and sweeping the snow for your cats, you know? I mean,
take good care of them cats.
take good care of them kitties. Their little paws got
Yeah,
wet.
he has a really perverted idea of what masculinity is. Yeah,
I know.
and like I do actually have one more final thought. Another reason I'm concerned and think it's reasonable to fight and be mean to Jim Bob a little bit over the internet. He does not seem like the kind of guy to me where if Megan did want to leave him sincerely and for good reason, that he would be like okay with that and like let that happen without, going a little crazy.
He believes the man is in control, so he does a lot of that biblical bullshit about, women should stay in their place and all that stuff. And, it'd be worth going through those, that library that I gave you and finding little clips on some of the crap he said about women. Some of it is really toxic as hell. It's really horrible.
Yeah. I wanted to do more diving into that before we made this video, like I said, but then he made a stream on us today, which how can you not? Mwah.
And this is just a one shot to show that, I answered his question.
Yeah,
I did.
You should play it again. That should be what takes us home, Mike, before you play the outro.
Oh, you think so? Let's see.
Yeah.
Where is it here?
I want to see it again.
30 minutes. The last part of it. Let's see.
Yeah.
We got that there. Okay. I didn't talk about their understanding of the Bible. That was another clip that I met. And but that would take a whole lot of unpacking. So let me see here. Oh my goodness. I lost it. Oh, I gotta go find it.
Yeah, those things usually reduce down into a nitpicky argument about scripture. They're not usually very fruitful.
Yeah, I got some things to say about that though that I think are pretty spot on. I don't know about this bit about, and anyway, we'll get into it someday. But let me do this first, okay? Okay, that sounds like me. Besides, true beliefs are generally applicable. False beliefs do not work generally, but may work in some specific instance. Utility is a broad word. One could argue that any action we take is intentional and therefore utilitarian. You are very dumb, my friend. You're out of your league when you pretend to do philosophy.
I take your dumb ass comments and I bring them to life.
Oh, there you have
That is good.
There you have it. Oh, great stream, Mike. Thanks for having me, helping me out with this. Jim Bob.
Even the assholes, I want to thank the assholes out there for coming over.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you. Appreciate you all. And we're going to end the stream.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for the love, Jim Bob. Appreciate it.
Okay. And we are